Marcus Hale had been sailing solo for 11 days when the storm hit. He had left the Azores on a calm Tuesday morning, confident in his 36-foot sloop and 20 years of ocean experience. By Friday evening, the Atlantic had other ideas. The storm came from the southwest, a wall of black cloud that ate the horizon whole. He reefed the mainsail, dropped the jib, and radioed his position. The reply crackled through static and died. The radio, soaked by a breaking wave, went silent forever. For 6 hours he fought the helm in darkness. Waves rose to 30 feet, cathedral walls of black water. At 2 a.m., a rogue wave struck broadside. The hull cracked. The cabin flooded in seconds. He grabbed his emergency bag, water, flares, a knife, a compass, a torch, and threw himself into the life raft just before the sloop groaned, tilted nose down, and slid beneath the waves like a tired animal going to sleep. Inside the tiny orange raft, he made his first decision: do not panic. He counted his supplies with calm hands. 2 liters of water. 4 energy bars. 3 flares. A knife. A torch. He rationed immediately: 2 sips of water and a quarter bar every 8 hours, nothing more. The storm eased by dawn. He fashioned a sea anchor from a bucket to slow his drift and tracked his direction south-southwest by compass. On the first afternoon he spotted a cargo ship on the horizon and fired a flare. Nothing came. He let the regret go. Dwelling was a luxury he could not afford. He drifted for 31 hours. He dreamed of his daughter's voice, of coffee, of rain on dry pavement. He woke before sunrise on the second day, stiff and salt-crusted, to see a dark green line sitting low on the horizon. Land.
He paddled with his hands for 3 hours and beached in a small coral cove, white sand, walls of jungle, the sound of birds he couldn't name. He lay face down on the sand and didn't move for a long time. Then he got up. Survival begins the moment you stop being grateful you're alive and start working at staying that way. He followed the sound of insects into the tree line. Insects cluster near moisture, and within 40 minutes found a thin stream tumbling down a mossy rock face. He drank slowly and deeply. Next he cut palm fronds with his knife and built a lean-to against a large flat rock, layering them until the roof shed rain. It was not beautiful. It worked. Days blurred, then sharpened into routine. He scratched tally marks into bark each morning to hold on to time. He walked every inch of the island, roughly 2 miles long, 1 wide, steep cliffs to the west and gentle beaches to the east. He found coconut palms, breadfruit trees, wild plantains, and crabs that emerged before dawn beneath flat stones at the tide line. Fire was his hardest early battle. No lighter, no matches. He spent 2 frustrating days with a dry stick spinning against a softwood board before producing his first ember. He nursed it into flame with shredded coconut husk and cried briefly and without embarrassment. He kept a signal fire burning at all times on the island's southern rocky point, throwing green leaves on it whenever he heard a distant engine or horn. On the beach he arranged rocks into a giant SOS, 30 feet wide, visible from altitude. Each morning he named 3 things he was grateful for, out loud, to the trees. Each evening he reviewed what he had done well. He came to understand that resilience was not toughness. It was flexibility, the ability to absorb loss and keep moving. On the 22nd day, he was boiling crab meat in a coconut shell when he saw it. A white hull, 3 miles out, moving slowly along the western edge of the island. He ran. He grabbed his last 2 flares and scrambled up the rocky south point, hands tearing on coral. He fired the first, a red arc burning 8 seconds against the open sky. The boat kept moving. He waited, heart hammering. He fired the second. The vessel slowed. Turned. Gradually the white shape grew into a Coast Guard patrol boat. He could see the orange stripe. He could hear the engines. He sat down on the rock and put his head in his hands. When they pulled him aboard he was 23 pounds lighter, sun-darkened to mahogany, and entirely, unreasonably calm. The lieutenant asked if he needed a doctor. He said yes. Then he asked if there was coffee. There was. Marcus was returned to the Azores and reunited with his daughter. The island was later identified as an unnamed outcropping 340 miles off the Azores coast, appearing on no commercial charts. He returned to it once, 2 years later, by choice, to stand on that rocky southern point, look at the faded SOS still visible on the beach, and feel grateful for every quiet, ordinary day that followed. On the bark wall of his old shelter, his carved words were still there. The sea did not break me. Neither will tomorrow.